Oh, welcome, and also I apologize for anything that's about to happen. It's me. We're back. It's been a tremendous. It's been tremendous. Are you tremendous? Rob Jones, everybody.
Hey, I'm tremendous. You got a tree that looks pretty
Tr-
tremendous in your background.
There's gonna be
Holiday
so many.
shopping,
There's gonna be so many
Christmas.
puns.
Somebody asked me what I wanted for Christmas earlier, or how did they phrase this? What did I get? And I just responded, crippling debt, because I have 4 kids. That's where I'm at.
I mean, what else do we need to talk about?
I mean, what, 30 seconds in, call it a wrap.
I just got a four. Did you have two sets of twins, or do you just enjoy the difficulties in life?
I didn't know where you were going with that. No, I had two. My wife had two, and then we got married.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
The old blended ROI family structure.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say you've like consolidated your debt.
Yeah, our kid debt. Yeah, we've there's a
Consolidate
lot
your
of it.
debt. Beers with Max.
Beers with Max. Did you bring a beer? I saw you drinking out of a Stanley or something.
Um, yeah, I broke my foot 4 days ago. I broke my foot on Saturday, and I was searching for like a positive out of it. And so I said, okay, I'm on my ass for 6 weeks, so I'll stop drinking.
You got to get rid of the podcast now or change it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna burn my computer and fire all my clients as well. I'm ready for a life change.
Yeah, that's that's not. I mean, not only is that fair, I would recommend that, and you could do something. What else is there with Max? Like crepes. You could, eat
Crepes.
crepes.
Yeah. Um,
I never know what kind of E that is. Like a soft E,
yeah.
like one of those European E's. Crepe.
Crepes. Crepes.
How'd you break your foot, man? Kicking ass. I know you're worried about retention and churn and solving that.
My
So
ankle churned in a ping pong match.
you you broke your foot playing ping pong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But here's the full story. So it's broke my right foot playing ping pong. I have broken my cheers, Prost. Do your thing. It's time, everybody. For those of you listening, uh, I broke my left foot, same bone, 8 years ago playing golf.
Yep.
So I'm checking the boxes. My buddy that I broke my foot playing ping pong against
Was
has
there
broken the same bone dancing.
the high eight?
No, just a
Might be a
regular.
handhold.
He wasn't like break dancing. He was just like, he was staying in his happy place and he broke his foot. So I guess my question for you is, which is worse, dancing, golf, or ping pong?
Put me on the spot. It's got to be golf. I mean,
Okay,
it
all right.
depends on the context. Mid
So
swing
I'm
is like you're
progressing.
not even stepping. That's weird. Dancing, you
Yeah,
could.
well, I was walking through the woods and I found my ball and I got excited and I stepped on a rock and I twisted in the woods. Those woods can get dangerous, man.
The woods are very
I
dangerous.
feel like if I could hit it straighter, I wouldn't have broken my foot that day.
Yeah, they all aren't very good. I've had quite some injuries. This eye is not 100% real.
Oh,
Yeah,
I have a friend that has a 0% eye on that side.
yeah.
It's just gone.
It's not glass. I mean, I can look
Oh,
around
you
and all
moving
that.
around? You're looking good, dude.
It's very noticeable with certain lighting. It looks like the Disney characters have the little twinkle and the gleam.
Hang on a second, babe. Can you close the door? I'm clearly doing the. It's like, where's the professionalism around here?
Yeah, it needs to be more. It's fine though. My
there
wife does
needs there
similar
needs to
stuff.
be more. Do better.
Do better. I'm in mid frame. I have this cool new table or desk. Now I can see the HubSpot representation. So
Well, I have a camera that if I wanna go back and put my foot up and go real chill with it, I can bring you over here. How do you feel now?
I even know if this is set up. Where are my settings? Stand by.
Can I juke it out? This is how I broke my foot. Like moving.
Oh, it won't let me change during the recording, or it doesn't recognize the camera. I have a teleprompter right here and obviously the green screen. So this is set up to do like standing, like McAfee, standing news. I actually wanted to, this is like weatherman rehearsal stuff also. So
Yeah, you can't just do it. I'm a one take only, kind of like the pizza
yeah,
rating thing. I'm a one take only, and I
one
think
take.
if there was
Everybody
a
knows the rules.
teleprompter in front of me, I would just like melt.
I don't use it for the teleprompt unless it's recorded. That's just what it is. Elgato has like the teleprompt with the Procam in it. I use it for an additional screen. So whenever I'm
Oh,
in
nice.
like a Zoom call and I already have the standing desk. I just tend to be very energetic and moving around. So I figured I'll just stand up and just talk into the screen, um, during some of these meetings or calls or episodes. I've done that for the Orange Network, and it was very energizing.
Episodic. Yeah, let's talk about. You want to talk about content, maybe?
Yeah, we could talk about content.
Yeah, just like briefly though, because I've almost had it. Like I was just not of like creating it, but talking about content. It's like you're creating content, talking about content, so that other people can comment on your content.
Yeah, it's the contentception theory.
Who's the stand up guy over COVID is just like feed them the content. You don't remember that special?
That sounds like Pete Holmes, just the way you did it, but I don't know.
Anyway, we'll put it in the show notes, everybody.
Show notes.
Um, but yeah, it was the I forget. It's a comedian that plays guitar and keyboard. It's always very musical, but it was obviously just for 3 months he was stuck in his in like a shack
You're talking
and
Dimitri
just
Martin or Bo Burnham or
Bo
somebody.
Burnham. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bo Burnham. Yeah,
Bo
it was
Burnham
like
is
weirdly depressing, but yeah.
he
So there's a
he's
content song just shoving people's
COVID
content in their
did a
mouths.
number on him. He's got some weird stuff out there now, and
Yeah.
he looks different. He looks like he hasn't shaved or gotten a haircut since COVID. Maybe I saw something that he did the other day that was like, what is it? The history of the internet, or welcome to the internet. That's a really
Yeah.
it's kind of dark, kind of
I
different.
think that's the one. I think yeah. I think that's the one, or maybe the one after that. Anyway, but it's a song about content. Anyway, let's talk. How do you feel about content?
I'm for it.
Okay. Well, you're like an agency guy too, right? Tell the people what you do,
Yeah,
John.
I'm the demand lead slash creative director at Rev Partners. We are a elite tier HubSpot solutions partner in the ecosystem, and yeah, that's what we do. We kind of made some really big weird bets, had some really contrarian opinions, two or three. I think Brendan, the founder of the company, his like work anniversary was December 1. I didn't come on. Um, I'll be there 3 years in January, so coming up soon. But their stance at the time, like most people that are tangentially familiar with HubSpot, is like, oh yeah, the marketing tool, right?
Hmm.
That's fair, but that's not all it does anymore. So 4 years ago, the contention was like, we're gonna standardize on HubSpot for CRM, and we're gonna go in hard to Sales Hub because we think it's gonna be awesome. We knew
Yeah.
that the non-compete with Salesforce had ended at that time, and so 85+% of the partners in the ecosystem were marketing agencies. That's what they did, which is fair. That's all HubSpot had really been up until 3 or 4 years ago. Now there are something like 7,000 product updates, new suite features. So we were right to an extent. I wasn't, but somebody, Brendan, Matt, somebody that one of the founders were right with their positioning,
Yeah.
and it's cool to have that happen. But then the expectation now is, what's the next thing for us? Like the next big goal, the next contrarian opinion. Because
Yeah,
now,
because now you got all the revies. First it was all so I was in the inbound era where that happened.
yeah, yeah,
And then you look around at inbound and everyone's got their orange pom poms and you're like, ah, shit.
yeah,
So I think it sounds like you got in right at that ground floor on the sales hub thing, and then they did the customer success thing. I didn't really follow closely enough but I tell you what happened is the RevOps became like, because it was sales and marketing alignment in the early days, and then it became RevOps as like It's like a catch-all for that stuff, and now everyone's RevOps.
Yeah. Well, yeah, to be determined. Pe- People are doing RevOps, period. Whether they're doing it well or not is really the contention.
Well, that's what I posted today because yesterday I sort of caught myself in one of those aha moments, like I didn't know I felt that way. And I said in an interview, I was like, unique value propositions are like kind of useless now. Um, and in short, it's because anybody can say that they're good at something enough times, and the market will believe it, and they could be trash at it. And so it's like you got people out there saying they're the best RevOps agencies in the world.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like, really?
there's only one. Yeah, I mean, it's us and then everybody else. I'm obviously biased, and that's more of a joke than any disdain or shade thrown at anyone. One of our guys, his legitimate name is Will Smith, so just get ready to listen to this. We had a guy that works for us named Will Smith. He is brilliant, and one of his explainer, like translation, is we're a RevOps agency because we were built for that. We're not a marketing agency that now bolted on Sales Hub functionality and, oh crap, we need to now think through RevOps because it's a buzzword. Our entire structure, infrastructure, how we solve, what we've been doing for not just a week, since last week, whenever RevOps became a trending topic. That's how we were founded and established, was to solve that need for people. So I think that helps explain it a little bit, where you could be
Well,
a
no, you have to. I think you have to be able to defend it. That is sort of my point with the unique positioning thing. Like, I don't care what you say. I need
proof.
proof.
Yeah,
And then people were like, "Well, look at my case study." I'm like, "Yeah, nice try. That's not proof."
yeah,
And
yeah,
so what I like to do is I look at the people.
yeah.
And so like if you say, "Oh, we're the if RevOps say is the servant," I'm not exactly sure how you're positioning it, but RevOps is we serve the CROs. Okay, show me some people
That's
on your
exactly
team.
what we're saying. Yeah,
Yeah, so show me some people on the team that have held management or executive level positions at the types of companies that you're serving that speak their language and blah blah blah. What I normally see is a bunch of marketers
yeah,
that had marketing titles up until ding 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 HubSpot came out with a new feature. Now all of a sudden they're RevOps Randys.
yeah. RevOps Randy is
Well, you got the
excellent, by the
marketing
way.
Marys, so you got to have the RevOps Marys,
Yeah, the
slappy seller.
success
I don't know.
Susans and the founder Franks
Seller
and
Susan. I honestly, I don't think Susan's match for sales. It's got to be, yeah, Sandy. I think Sandy would be out
Sandy
there just like
sells.
killing
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
Steve is a good salesman too.
Who sells seashells?
By the CRM,
Yeah. What's her name?
uh,
Sally?
Sally. I thought it was just she. She sells seashells by the seashore. Who
No,
is it?
it's
It may be
Sally.
Sally. Yeah,
Someone.
yeah. But that's how I think about the difference. And I would even say you can look at current people. Like one of the speaking of retention, one of the retention issues that we have is actually, I would say, super positive, but it's not in partners, it's in people, and it's because our training and our philosophy is so good. You can look at the people at our org now and like where they came from and how long they've held titles and roles, and you can look at people that are unicorns, like strategic tacticians. They can implement this stuff not only technically but understand holistically why they're doing it, and unfortunately they go and work at Riverside as the director of RevOps, or they go and found companies. So
Yeah,
almost if you
fuck
look at
Riverside.
no, Riverside's great. That's why, like, shout out. We're in Riverside right now.
Yeah,
Hey
yeah.
Diane,
I'm
if you're
just kidding.
listening to
I
this.
hope the internet knows I sort of jokey. I'm jokey.
But that also, I mean, would you say that's like decent success of your people and methodologies if you
Oh
can? It's
man.
not
So
something we
yeah, I
want to
was.
lose people, but it's also like,
Well,
okay,
when
you're
you lose
amazing.
people, you lose clients. Like one of the so it's cyclical, right? Because if you start losing clients, you're going to lose your people. Once you lose people, then you're going to lose more clients. Because as soon as you start shifting POC, client point of contacts,
Yep.
there's a big like people don't realize that there's like a 6 month window of like there should be red flags everywhere. Like you gotta basically start over in the relationship in terms of trust, and people don't do that. So yeah, like if somebody said, Max, rate me in 1 to 10, 10 being like no churn, 10 being like our clients are really at risk of churn. The first thing I look at is the people.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, how are you positioned? Okay, RevOps. Then I look at the people. Okay, you got a bunch of content marketers. Like, all right, so you're selling RevOps, and then you're giving the clients to junior content marketers. Uh, okay, so red flag for me. Churn
Yeah.
level up. And then yeah, the retention of the people. What is the average? And LinkedIn will tell you that. LinkedIn has the little here's the average tenure of an employee, and if it's below a year, sayonara. That's like
Yeah.
your clients aren't spending more than 6 months with you. But the industry average I've seen is 3 years. So
For who? I mean, we yeah, I've been looking at this a lot. This isn't even my direct role. I just like knowing shit and solving problems that are difficult, and this is a difficult problem.
well, it affects your role. Yeah,
It
it
affects
affects if it affects your clients, it affects you.
it affects the org, it affects culture, and that affects
Yeah,
like equity. It affects a lot of things, right? It affects a ton. Um, one for services company, there's like a um, we compared. There's really not anything on like RevOps and some of these job titles and roles for like benchmarks, industry benchmarks, but professional
yeah, because it's a
services,
made up term.
right? Yeah, so professional services, that category, there is data, which is fair. That's decently close. That is right at like 13% turnover. When you get into marketing agencies, right, as a category, that's about 30%. And so you can almost extrapolate out like voluntary, involuntary personnel turnover. How you, I think in our prep call we were talking about marketing to sales handoff alongside like retention. But it's really like partner to partner transition handoff and how you approach that and how you structure that in. So one of the things that we've kind of put into practice, especially for larger accounts, which we have a lot, is this two in a box concept of like we work not with like singular strategists or leads, but they have pods anyway. That is a strategist, a technologist, a scrum master,
Yeah,
and then a lead. We've now put two strategists in the same one. Not so much for like the retention or turnover or partner transition, any of that, but just for more opportunities to build trust and more opportunities to um, like action things quickly within an account. It's been massively successful because now you can position different like subspecialties or specialties within that. Like you said,
yeah,
you're a nonprofit and you're this size and this is your sector. Okay, we have this strategist who's done, you know, 80 different deployments of whatever. Plus, this is your co-strategist type person. Their specialty is in parent-child relationship architecture in HubSpot. So we know you're going to have that for the different franchisees or the different arms of the business, like the different
yeah.
business units. It's
Well,
it's
I
worked well so far.
I think that I think maybe you're okay.
Freezing to death on this fan.
Rob's gone.
Sorry, I'm back.
I'm trying to hang on to the thought. I think you're onto something because I don't think companies hire an agency because they're like, I don't want to hire a marketer, so I'm gonna outsource a marketer. I think these are organizations that want a marketing team because the team dynamics is like you know you're doing there's so and this was even from a time when marketing was simple and there's like one channel, you know.
Yeah,
Now it's like Bifra, F and K to, you know, who knows what's coming next. It's like you want a team of people. You want the nerds, you want the talkies, you want the suaves,
yeah,
and you just want the guy that's like a little psycho all on one team, right? And
yeah.
then that's when special things can happen. And
That's
but these agencies they just give like they give it to one person who's like, you know, sort of, I don't know, maybe they're just like hanging out. Maybe that's like their second job and they're just using it as like a stepping stone. Maybe they went into the wrong bar and got that like super happy agency owner that sold them on the concept. These are all real stories, by the way. And
wow.
yeah, I think that's I really like that. Um, give them the team.
Well, it is as a team or pod or whatever. I think part of that kind of the approach with personnel and how we structure the things we know that will be needed, like um, integration, migration, coding, dev work. That is almost always some component. That's a different skill set necessarily than strategy and being able to action things like specifically within HubSpot. What we're
Oh, for
noticing
sure.
though is to build almost on this like you need a team of specialists led by like a really experienced generalist, somebody holistic, I'll put it that way, The same thing is happening with the tools and tech that people are putting into life again.
Don't worry about me. There's just a bush shaking outside. Turns out it's my son, but I
There's a
can't see him,
massive
so it's
tree
just
right
like,
behind you that, man, look, there's like a cougar in the painting. Um, but that is now the approach with tech. Is used to be we'll just use Salesforce for everything, or we'll just use this. All we need is HubSpot. Now you need calendar, lead routing. You need all that. You need a way to send videos with AI. There's so much tech and tool proliferation that those things require specialization as well. And knowing how to orchestrate all that into not a tech stack, but a solutions package or a solutions portfolio that matches the identity of the company is what we're trying to build. And so there's some like frameworks for that where let's say you're a B2B SaaS with a PLG motion and you're at 10 million ARR and your ICP is whatever, right? You need to know the type of data architecture to build to get the right reporting to figure out where you are in growth. So
that was the most ridiculous sentence.
yeah,
The B2B, ICP, P&L,
CAC
Blue
payback,
40,
LTV,
Blue 42,
Omaha, Omaha.
CAC, P&L.
Yeah, I've done several skits on B2B abbreviations. I almost thought, hey, tell me if you'd be into this, because this is my more, I probably sound like a Southern accent, but if you want me to, I can dial it up. And so one of the funny things I thought about doing was like a redneck RevOps and just talk about all the different B2B terminologies that, I thought it'd be good. I don't
Yeah,
think
well,
anybody
I
really
think
wants to hear that for a long time, though. It's
no,
kind
I
of
think you
endearing
need
for a minute.
I think you need like how on the streets of like Nashville they'll go up and they'll interview some like Southerner, you know.
Southern, yeah. Yes, yeah,
uh yeah, I could just see them like, "Hey, what's B2B?"
yeah.
And they're just like,
B2B is when
you need
is
to get the
whenever
hell
in
off me."
April, whenever you see them honeybees out there mating because they're trying to get pollen out on all them flowers so they'll grow.
Exactly.
That's B2B.
Exactly. Like we need like Marvin the marketer going around Nashville at like, 11
Yeah.
o'clock at night asking about CAC.
I ask,
You
I
shut your
mean,
mouth when you're asking me questions.
this is really close to home because I still live in the South and I'm from here. But I asked somebody what they thought HubSpot was, and they said that's whenever that's whenever your tire's dirty, you got a HubSpot. I was like, oh, that's ridiculous.
I think that could be a whole like LinkedIn channel. I think that would do really well.
Hey man, I'm here. I'm trying to make things happen. That's why I came to the man with the plan, with the cool podcast and a broke foot. If you want to help make
Who's got
that
a
happen,
podcast? Who's got a podcast? I don't
you.
have I don't do podcasts.
If you were to redo it and not, have your broke foot, you're going to stop drinking, and you want it to be Southern, you could do Deers with Max, and we could go out in the woods and just, make stuff happen.
That's the trick. You just got to make it about something you like, because otherwise you won't like it. That's
That's
deep
right.
thought. That's a deep thought right there.
Yeah, like churn when your ankle churns over. Not very much fun. But yeah, I don't think anybody likes that, and I think some of the. I actually did I was kind of explaining. Whoever it was, Einstein is like, if you can't explain something to a 5-year-old, then you don't know it well enough. I can't tell you how much I believe in that. So, trying to explain some of this CRO narrative concept that we have to my team, which is media, their job isn't to be a technical expert or any of that, but seeing how well I understood it, it's like, here you have 100 customers, right? Let's say you retain all of them, and 1 in 5 makes a purchase. Like, I was trying to get to the 120% net revenue retention. Like, guess what? You've grown by 20%, and you haven't gained a new customer at all.
Yeah,
That's really good.
you lost me at percent.
Percent.
Says the 5-year-old.
The math
So
doesn't work out.
I think this is an untapped resource. So my grandfather was, I don't know, 97 when he passed or something. But my agency was like, I don't know, 15 minutes away from the retirement home. And like he was like it was like the retirement home where like rich people go to die, like bankers, like big money old people knew at like all the secrets of why everything's so screwed up right now. Like those were the successful people that did that, or
The
at least laid the
Rockefellers
groundwork.
and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
those.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
they're all having. So I would go have dinner and like I'd be at this table just like lapping it up, but I would do presentations to like 95-year-old people about what I was doing at the agency.
Yeah.
And it was it took me like three times before so I'd be like, yeah, I do. I even got to like, I do marketing. And they're like, what's that mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. How do I explain?
I help people grow their business. And they're like, oh my God, my son is the CEO of blah, 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 blah. I should introduce you. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But that's the point. That's why I want to do a children's book, because you have to be able to explain it in these extreme. My son said this to me the other day, because I wasn't thrilled with like a phone call that I had, and he's like, "Daddy, why are you sad?" I was like, "Well, the person I was talking to made me sad." He's like, "I have an idea. How about you talk to people that make you happy?" And that it like in that moment, I was like, "You understand one of the biggest keys to running a business is choosing your customers wisely."
Yeah.
And it's like, what a smart kid.
Yeah.
These concepts.
Yeah.
ICP, that is the description of an ICP right there. People
Yeah.
that make you
ICP and
happy.
Redneck RevOps is like he took a whiz outside, now ICP, right? So smart. Sounds like a smart kid. Yeah. I mean, I would say too that if you talking about like sad conversations versus happy ones, if you can position yourself and your brand and your agency in a way that attracts good fit people better, and you don't have to deal with the friction of disqualification or like, you mentioned like less than ideal fit partners, right? That's like
Yeah.
the goal of every business that does any sort of inbound motion is you want the right people, right fit, and that are going to get value from you over and over again. That's the key to retention is, we've positioned this, I would say, because I helped write this damn thing, which was horrible and took forever, but the customer owns retention. The CRO owns ensuring it recurs. And so it transitions from like, how do we provide value to people to how do we provide value to people again? That's a really, really hard question to answer in almost any situation, right? Uh, DoorDash, like I have a subscription to DoorDash, a lot of value, it recurs. I'm going to probably keep using it. But if it ever becomes something that isn't, that, for whatever reason, then I'm going to turn off and look for something else.
Yeah.
So how do you like defeat and anticipate the status quo becoming less than ideal? Some of that you can control, some of it you can't. But your mission as a CRO should be to ensure that value transaction or whatever happens again and then again and then again after that.
Yeah. Well, the playing field changes. The field changes, and the appetite of the client changes, the personalities change, the people change, the objectives change, and what I see a lot is like, oh yeah, these were what are their goals? Oh, here are the goals when we sold them the account, and it's like, okay, they've gone through like two restructurings. The account would have never gotten this far, but they've gone through two restructurings. They do quarterly business reviews. They
Yeah.
create new rocks, or they create new initiatives. Their objectives that you're contributing to are completely different.
Yeah.
And so if you're not if you're not like matched up with their monthly routine planning, you're just lost, and you're like, oh yeah, we're delivering on the goals. It's like, whose goals are they? Are
Yeah.
they yours or are they theirs?
That is so that alignment, which I know like every time we say a buzzword, have a sip, right? But I think it's more in depth than that because it requires the other key component, and it's in this, get ready for January with some messianic CRO shit coming out. But I would say like the core focus of what the CRO is trying to do is ensure that everyone in the org knows the customer as well as they do, and that should be reflected in the data management system, right? Like if you're not aware of competitive trends or the market or any of that, which is part of the purview, then you should be, because it means you're not knowing your customers and what the customers now want. And I watched, I don't know, 20 hours of CRO interviews with different stuff. One of the core themes in that is like, if I get a role or if I'm hired as a CRO, the first month and a half is just customer interviews. Like it's looking at the CRM, it's looking and speaking with customers directly to know where we're positioned to take care of them and add value. And if I can't do that, then we're going to have a problem with retaining what we have and attracting and signing net new logos. So it's growth
So
and retention.
I would challenge anyone that lives by that mantra
Yeah.
to enforce the following policy in their organization. Every single person must speak to a CRO that is not a current customer once a month.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
What you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, how do we do it? Use the effing internet. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm doing a school book project. I don't care what you need to do. Get out there and meet a CRO.
I would add in, I mean, it might be a twofer if that is your customer, which for us, that's who we're trying to serve. But
Yeah,
you should also there's almost this pass through motion for us. It's like we have to know our partners' needs, and we have to know their customers' needs as well.
right.
So there has to be a really really tight fit of understanding of here's what you should be trying to solve for. That's where the recommendation and strategy and not becoming an agency like order taker mindset comes in. I've heard that a lot too, where people are, yes, it's less cost, yes, whatever. It's not a W-2. There's less risk. There's all sorts of reasons you'd want to do that, but there's also no continuity. And the biggest problem for CROs is that they have a death sentence as soon as they're hired. It's 18 months and you're fired. That is the average. It's actually 17, but that's the tenure. What that does is any sort of new initiatives or strategic motions they want to put, if they're gone in a year and a half, do you know how long it takes to rip out and implant a new CRM? About a year and a half. So there's no continuity in leadership, and the change management part is different than what we started talking about, continuity in who's owning the relationship. It's a
Yeah, someone
challenging thing.
someone's got to own that relationship. I posted a triangle, service design triangle the other day. Did you see my triangle?
I did not, but I can't wait to go look at it.
Okay, it's like the only triangle I've posted in a long time.
Is it like the Deathly Hallows? Because I'll be more interested if it has a line and a circle in it that represent
No, no,
the.
no. It's the end customer and the client. I call it the customer, the client, and the agency. And the customer to the agency, that's the consulting work, that's the relationship work. So you have to know you have to know your client. So
Yep.
the fuck it, you, the agency, and the client.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to know your client. But then there's the customer, and you have to know the end customer. That's where you do customer research. That's where it's nice to have like a niche or a niche or a
Yeah.
nichoir, however you want to do that. But like that's why your work, that's why you can charge a premiums, because your clients aren't paying you to learn their business or their customers. You already come with accumulated knowledge. So when you're talking about own the customer, I think that's two things. You have to really understand your client,
Yes.
but you also have to have like institutional knowledge and data that no one else has about their end customer. And that's my triangle.
Yes. I agree with that. I would say there's like receiving and sending lines for both. It's better when
Yeah.
they have some awareness and comms of you too. Like you're going this way to the
Yep.
partner, right? If you're the agency, but you're also going up. You're supposed to know the customer as well.
Yeah, the
Um,
triangle. Yeah.
Triangle. Yeah. You sound like Phil Jackson right now, which I appreciate a lot. The triangle offense of,
Yeah, football. Okay, yeah.
yeah, basketball. You did not break your foot playing basketball.
No, I
Just
broke my
golf.
finger playing basketball once.
Have you? How many things have you broken?
Too many.
Sounds like
Lots
you've
of
broken a
fingers
world
and
record for
feet.
fingers and feet broken.
Yeah, lots of fingers and feet. I snapped my arm in half once. That was snowboarding. That was a lot of fun.
I've
I get
seen. I
out there,
mean,
you know. I get out there.
I was in EMS for 4 years, so I've seen a lot of that, and it's pretty scary. I
I almost
luckily
lost
haven't.
my thumb playing rugby.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
almost lost
college
my thumb in
rugby.
a very intense thumb wrestling match, which yeah, never going back down that hole again.
Never,
I
never
was playing
do
ping
a.
pong and ding dang.
Yeah, I was gonna say never do a paid thumb wrestling match in
Yeah, in Seoul,
yeah,
can't do it.
it's the South Korean thumb wrestlers.
Yeah, they are aggressive. I'll say that they
It's
have
a
some
different league.
different league, man. Um, yeah,
My goodness. Yeah. Oh boy. CROs. What? Yeah. The death sentence. Why do you think? Yeah. Why do you think they don't last very long?
Friction. I don't think it's talent based. I think it's continuity based, and I think people just. I think there's a lot of reasons. I think B2B companies with the different changes you're seeing, where brands are have less authority and creators have more authority, where the expectation for deliveries, people are experiencing this Amazon effect of like, if I
Yeah.
snap my fingers and push click, then it's going to be at my house in a day or less. That is not how it works in B2B, but that's the expectation. It's
Yeah.
shading more towards that.
I think it's because it's a made up role.
Of what?
Marketing and sales combined
Yeah,
as one. I think it's a product of marketing and sales being like everyone was like, oh, sales and marketing alignment. What they failed to realize is that they're like mortal. They're like always going to be, and they're never going to be aligned
yeah.
unless you literally just no longer call people marketers and no longer call people sales. And there's just like one motion of we need to take people that aren't customers and get them to become customers.
That's what we're doing.
We're on that team. Yeah. But I think in organizations with a CRO, you still see built marketing teams and built sales teams. So there you go. By the very definition, by the very makeup of what the CRO is trying to do, is trying to push marketing and sales together, you fail. So if you've got a CRO with a marketing team and a sales team, I think you fail. I think you fail. I think that's it. That's the end of the discussion.
So you're gonna drop that bomb towards the end of
Why
the
isn't it not if there's a CRO, where's the
yeah,
revenue team? Why have a C-suite role if there's not a team? The revenue CXO, there's usually an X. There's a
yeah.
CMO, there's a marketing team. There's a head of sales, there's a sales team. Why does the chief revenue officer not have a revenue team?
There's too many different thoughts and opinions about that to clarify in however much time we have left.
I don't know.
It would
We
be go to
probably
market
overtime.
teams. Yeah, the CRO is said like three things here. The CRO's job is to force alignment of go to market, which is how you
Yeah.
bring your product service offering to market. And I know you're saying there's still marketing and sales
Well,
teams, and you're
there's
right.
one way to force it.
Yeah,
You
have
know how to
marketing carry
you know
quota.
how to force alignment.
Yeah, it's make them accountable. So
No,
have
you
marketing
combine them.
carry a
No, you
quota,
combine them.
which is go to market teams. So, but
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
some of this like that doesn't scale the same way, and a lot of this is,
Yeah.
to your point, is new. So I've seen and interviewed people that are doing that, and there is friction there where like
I
I've been a marketer for 10 years, blah blah blah. I've been in sales for this. You're telling me that now we marketers carry a quota and that we have to do this?
yeah.
Yes, it's because we don't give a shit where credit goes. That's what the data and attribution is for. Is like, who do we give the credit to? We give the credit to the org
Yeah,
for
the
revenue
org, right.
generated.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
So the CRO is translating from the middle, like the bow tie funnel comes into this conversion point in the middle for acquisition, close one.
yeah.
The CFO, like the financial person, casts like the 10-year vision, the long-term financial goals, all of that. The CEO or whoever owns go-to-market, right, in the C-suite, is more strategy, vision. Here's what we should do next. The visionary, that type of thing.
Yeah.
The CRO has to translate expectations between the two and figure out how to operationalize that within the org. So depending on the industry, depending on the maturity, depending on a lot of things, I actually agree with you. Combine the two teams
Yeah.
because their goal is the same, to acquire
Yeah. I
customers,
was talking to
right?
an agency just the other day. He's like, yeah,
Yeah,
the secret is there's no marketing and no sales, just one team.
exactly right.
And I'm like, yeah. So I think there's a reason there's the 17, like there should be a book written on this of like, why the hell is it 17 months or whatever it is?
I'm starting a
Uh,
podcast in January called T-17 that goes and speaks with CROs
really?
specifically. Yes.
Is the first question, how do you feel about losing your job?
Yeah, it's the first question they're going to ask me, and I don't know when this is going to come out, but on January 2nd or 3rd, I'm going to be fired from my org, legitimately. Laugh
Oh
now.
yeah. Oh wait, you're like yeah, you're like creative and CRO, you said.
I'm not the CRO, but I'm going to be assuming that persona so
You
that
have
I
a
can
revenue
get,
title though.
yeah. But the ploy and the aim is to
raise
Like,
awareness
yes,
of
legitimately.
challenged
Like
CROs
Rob is fired.
everywhere.
Oh, that sucks. Shock. Like internal on social, whatever. But it's effective on June 2nd, 2026.
Yeah, that's how
You
you
now have
start the show.
17 months to,
That's how you
figure
start
shit
the
out.
show. We're here with
Yeah.
Rob Jones. You're fired. How's it going?
Yeah. Well, it sucks. Thanks very much. Trying to squeeze these two marketing and sales teams together, and it's they oil and water.
We're out here raising awareness for chief revenue officers. Make your
Yeah.
donations to robjones.com.
RobJones.com. That's exactly right. I feel very much like I'm going to be. I forgot his name or his last name. Bruce Nolan, where he's like, Bruce Almighty. He's like on the boat, like I'm here at the Niagara Falls. Like I want to be as close to it as I can to have better understanding and enable people for what they
You
actually need.
you got to put a like some way that you're notified on your computer when a CRO changes position on LinkedIn because you can set alerts.
Yeah.
So you could just have like a bunch of like your ICPs targeted like 1,000 companies and just make a little jingle. So you'd be like in the middle of a show, you'd be like, ding, you're like, oh my God, hey, moment of silence for another CRO gone.
Yeah.
Bill, Bill
We've actually
Ryan.
we've
Shout
actually
out to
thought
Bill
about that too,
Ryan.
which is
How
insane.
long did he last, folks?
Through make.com and through some clever uh, custom dev work, which we figured out, I can program that notification to go to my Apple Watch, like real time. I don't.
I'm a big
I
fan of that concept. I love T minus 17 because it's such a it does so well, as you know, when there's just one concept gets that just gets people and they're like, yeah, why the hell is that?
well, within the last 5 minutes of this, the intent is to be provocative because it's important. So
It
I
is.
agree with you of like, how
These
you
are
fix this
people.
shit is
CROs are people too.
yes, is combine them. It's like, how many people are going to be up in arms about that at the retirement home? Like, we would never have combined our sales and marketing teams.
No, they're
It,
sitting there saying, "What is marketing?" No, tell
yeah.
me, what are you talking about? They're like, I don't know.
Do you remember the people that I don't know where this is recently. I haven't seen it, but they go and like climb trees and just live there to like save the forest.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
have,
I think
yeah. Well,
okay.
I'm not going to go do that, but I am like save the CRO is kind of like the lifeblood of the concept, and so
What you need is like what's that woman's name, the singer? And the infomercial comes on at
I've
at
already
like
done a
8:30.
video like that, legitimately. Like,
Yeah,
it,
like eight like yeah. He's
yeah,
like your
Sarah McLaughlin.
donation will go to,
I
three
wrote a song
CRO.
and sang and performed it called "In
Yeah.
the Arms of the Admin."
That's
Yeah, I mean,
HR sent the letter.
I had a corgi at the time named Murphy, and I just had him in my lap like every day. An admin is
Wow.
yeah,
Well, look, tune in, folks. T minus 17. Wow, I'm psyched about that.
I'm
I
excited.
think I think um I think we leave it there. We need to do more of this. I appreciate the extra time. I don't know how long we booked, but I love jamming about this stuff. There's deep talks with people that may or may not know what they're talking about, but people that are listening, they know. They're like,
Being able to go in and out and high level and change focus and speak about the problem, I think is really just as a podcast guest. That's a super good quality in a host is to not make it rote and mundane and boring and
huh.
incredibly structured, right?
Well, I gotta make. You know what I want to do? I want to step up my game, and I want to have a buzzword counter and an acronym counter, and like that's the battle. How many buzzwords versus the acronyms?
I like it.
I think that'd be a good battle.
I think you should promise a bunch of like in-depth blockbuster Michael Bay type marketing B2B movies and never deliver and just call them trailers. And you just have like a minute 30 hype clip about a massive like release and then it just never happens. But you
A
talk about it
massive
a lot.
release.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did have I've got a lot of concepts for short like spin-offs, and one of them was Max's Tiny Shorts.
Yeah. I like it.
And the logo would just be like these tiny little shorts.
Yeah. We've The biggest, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it this year through RP, but I'm probably going to do it and aggregate. You know, it just needs to happen. You know what I mean? Like whether or not it's approved or whether or not there's time, it just needs to happen. And that's this other concept of HubSpot trying to get to 76 billion global TAM or whatnot. There's just not enough people that know, not enough awareness. People still believe in Salesforceism, and there's only one way, and that's just not true anymore at all. So the concept is to have, which we've built already, is called the Orange Network. You see that, but it's like, oh, podcast network and whatever, and it's just there's no real omni thread. There's nothing like that creates singularity amongst that. Like ESPN is a sports network, and whatever's on there, whether it's Jimmy V Week, which I love, whether it's Pardon the Interruption, whether it's news, the thread is sports. And so I want to create the Orange Network, again, already kind of like pre-production, where Fridays are 9 to 2 HubSpot shows that cover specific topics throughout. Just blasting it in your face. If you don't want to pay attention, great. But at some point you will be familiar, like on LinkedIn or on social platforms, like what is this? What the hell? I've seen this guy a couple times. HubSpot, in a similar way to Trailhead and to Salesforce Ben and just like their presence for the last 30 years, HubSpot needs a way to own a day of the week. And so that's what I want to build. Not just
I think you have to do that.
Yeah, I think I have to too.
I've gone with every morning. I post every morning. So it's I think you're right. There needs to be something habitual that people know, just like old shows, like, yep, Saturday at 9, like, or every morning at 8, like we're gonna see Max, and what he's gonna say some weird shit.
We thought about that too, but it's not posting. This would be live for like 4 hours. And
yeah,
so
I'm with you
can
there.
Repurpose the content, but it's at least the opportunity for somebody to have exposure to it and create some familiarity. And then they can kind of dive into which areas or what they want to see or look at based on the show. I had a thing. This was like weirdly successful. And then, of course, life and work and other OKRs happened, so I stopped it. But it was called the weekly stand-up.
Ding.
Yeah.
OKR.
Buzzword. Yeah. Damn.
No, that's an acronym.
Yeah. But the weekly stand-up was me at a desk doing the news, but it was just like it was basically the weekend update is what it was based off of. So it was like headlines where Alphabet wants to buy HubSpot, whatever that was, and we would do 15 minutes of just whatever, a sketch. And lo and behold, like I got Yamini, the CEO of HubSpot, to appear on the weekly stand-up and talk through some of the upcoming inbound stuff. So just being there and doing stuff also creates space and invitation for people to say, I kind of want to join that, or I kind of want to be on that. Have you experienced that with? I mean, I'm on your podcast right now, but have you noticed that like creating a space and just being consistent gets people more and more involved and interested over time?
Yeah, but it's a borderline rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Have you found that being consistent is effective? It's like,
well,
yeah.
I guess.
And drinking water keeps you alive too.
Yeah. Not just for like, I assume you use it as a vehicle for like lead generation and for advancing the business.
It's everything. Yeah, it's omni. What was the word? It's omnipresent.
Omni-threading.
Omni-good.
Yeah. So
very good.
So you can now introduce new topics, right?
Yeah.
Like you serving as an agency and like wanting to. That's not new. But
that's why it wasn't Max's marketing podcast. Like, who the fuck cares? It's Beers with Max. We talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, that's good. You figured it out, man. You figured out most things except woods walking. What was the other thing?
Woods walking and ping ponging.
Dancing, ping ponging. Yeah.
That was my buddy who broke it dancing.
Oh.
I've never broken anything dancing, and I've cut some rugs.
Busted a move.
Yeah, busted a move. Well, look, if anything, we've added a few things to the buzzword dictionary. The buzzword dictionary is my lifelong battle against buzzwords. We've taken away OKRs and KPIs. Those have become important numbers. That's how we talk about them now. What are your important numbers? We've taken away. I don't even remember now I don't even remember it. I call it things and steps. Standard operating procedures. SOPs.
Things and steps.
Yeah. So I've got things and steps documents. That's the title.
SLAs is just like what you should do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Now you're getting it. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, where's the
I'm
document
buying
of
in,
what we
man.
should be
Holy
doing?
crap.
Here's the
That's way
document of
easier.
what we should be doing. Yeah, it's called What We Should Be Doing. So you see what I mean?
Yeah. It's brilliant.
I know.
You're a
And
simple man with a brilliant mind, and I can't thank you enough for
okay, we'll end
translating some of
there.
this.
We'll end on that. Thank you, Rob Jones.
Thank you, Max Trailer.
Welcome back anytime. For those of you listening to Beers with Max, do not operate heavy machinery. Tip your waitress. See you out there.